Hello and welcome to Pyrford TV Arts, Autumn Edition 2016. I'm Tim Matthews. Well, on today's show, we visit this year's Woking Drama Festival. It's the 58th. We talk to Liz Firth, the winner of Woking's Alien Short Story Competition, and meet the photographer of a new calendar that's raising eyebrows as well as money in West Byfleet. But we begin with TV Art's traditional seasonal poem, evoking autumn and the approach of winter, that nip in the air, that feeling of loss perhaps for the summer. Shakespeare's Sonnet 104. How like a winter hath my absence been from thee, the pleasure of the fleeting year. What freezings have I felt, what dark days seen, what old December's bareness everywhere. And yet this time removed was summer's time, the teeming autumn big with rich increase, bearing the wanton burthen of the prime, like widowed wombs after their lord's decease. Yet this abundant issue seemed to me but hope of orphans and unfathered fruit. For summer and his pleasures wait on thee, and thou away, the very birds are mute. Or, if they sing, 'tis with so dull a cheer that leaves look pale, dreading the winter's near. Robert Mathieu was reading Shakespeare's Sonnet 104, How like a winter hath my absence been, with music specially composed by Toby Johnson. And Toby's just joined the TV Arts team, so welcome Toby, we'll be hearing more from you later. And now for an unusual view of one of our local theatres, the Rhoda McGaw Theatre in Woking. It's the home of 20 or so local amateur theatre groups in our area of North Surrey. It's a professional theatre which Woking Borough Council subsidises very generously and is the venue of the annual Drama Festival. We'll hear more of the Drama Festival later. But first, Claire Rossino takes us backstage on a whistle-stop tour.
I'm backstage in the scene dock at the Rhoda McGaw Theatre in Woking. It's always busy backstage during the festival, with props and flats waiting for their big moment. The scene dock leads through to the wings, and that's where we're going now. This is where the actors wait very nervously to go on stage. It's also where the stage manager sits, just here. He or she cues the actors and looks after the curtains. As the festival team are getting ready for the start of the festival, there are no actors on stage. I think we should go on. Follow me. The auditorium at the Rhoda has almost 230 seats. It's a performance space which is owned by the Woking Borough Council and managed by the Ambassadors Group in Woking. The theatre caters for Woking's many different theatre groups and community groups, including semi-professional and professional content. It has a wide programme of entertainment throughout the year, including musicals, comedy, drama, and of course it plays host to Woking Drama Association's festival every year. This year, 2016, is the 58th year and it proves to be the best yet.
Claire Rossino was backstage at the Rhoda McGaw Theatre in Woking, prior to the Drama Festival, which we'll hear about a little bit later on. Well, as you know, this year is the 150th anniversary of the birth of H.G. Wells, who wrote so many of his seminal works here in Woking: The Invisible Man, The Time Machine, and of course, War of the Worlds. To celebrate this important literary occasion, Woking Borough Council staged a number of events, including a rather special writing contest, the Alien Short Story Competition. The winners were from a range of age groups, including adults, And Anne Jones went along to meet Liz Firth, whose story 2026 won first prize in the adult category.
The principal character is called Ava MacArthur, and she is a specialist in bioluminescence, and she has been given a very exciting position at the World Space Programme's new facility. So in my story, another alien has landed on Horsell Common, but this time on a meteorite, and it seems to be an incredibly basic life form. Because I only had 3,000 words in my head, it's discovered by a jogger, but you never find that part of the story. The story starts 10 years after its first arrival. So the idea is that it lands this year, and then basically completely changes the world's perception of space and life, and it causes the countries to work together, form the World Space Programme, and build a giant centre, which is funded by lots of different countries.
Have you got any advice for other writers, and what age is a good one to start writing?
Well, I didn't start writing until I was 28, so that was the age for me. I mean, I've been very lucky to have won the Woking Borough Council competition, and it seems a very grand question for someone who's only thus far won one competition. But I would say you just have to write for the love of it, really. That's how when I started writing when I was 28, I'd realised that in terms of if you ever want to become a novelist, I've read up about it, and it's something like 10,000 manuscripts that a publishing house receives every year, and there's no way that I don't think they accept more than two new writers a year. So you can't really write to win, and you can't write just for being published, because then the disappointment would overtake. You have to write for the love of it, and I've found as well that my friends and my family have been so supportive. They've always wanted to read anything that I've written, and even when I was teaching, I used to give my students updates on what I'd written, and then it just becomes something which is quite relaxed and something which is quite normal, and it's just a hobby like other people play football, or they're into motorsport, or they dance. It's just a hobby like that, really. So it's something that something that you have to do for love. I've heard professional writers talk about or give their tips, and they always say read as much as possible in that genre. So that's what I've heard. But from my own viewpoint, you just have to write for yourself, and you have to really enjoy it, and you have to have your own standards and want to meet your own standards, and have something that you're proud of, and there will always be somebody that wants to read it, and people are really positive about it, 'cause there are so many people out there who want to write and don't, and I've just found people have always been very kind and very interested.
Anne Jones was talking to Liz Firth, the winner of Woking Borough Council's Alien Short Story Competition. You can see the full interview if you visit the Pyrford TV Arts channel on Vimeo. And talking of competitions, it's the 58th year of the Woking Drama Festival, held annually at our local theatre, the Rhoda Magor. At the top of the show, Claire Rossino took us on a backstage tour as cast and crew prepared for a fortnight of one-act plays, adjudicated by Michael Kayser. This is the second year for Amanda Vaughan as chair of the Woking Drama Association. And after her rush round the stage, Claire Rossino went to meet Amanda to find out how her first year had gone, and also how the festival was progressing.
So 2015, last year, was your first as chair for the Woking Drama Association. And in that year, you not only had the All Winners Festival from 2015, but then you also had the festival.
Yeah.
How is the second year going?
I would like to say it's been less stressful, but actually Woking Borough Council asked us to be part of the celebrations for the H.G. Wells anniversary, and to reform the Rhoda Magor Theatre Company, which is made up of member groups of the WDA. And I was responsible for producing and compiling a show, a variety science fiction show, which was In the Fullness of Time, H.G. Wells, and that comprised of 8 different groups. And the first time that I actually saw the show, because they all rehearsed separately, was at the dress rehearsal. So that was unbelievably stressful. So actually the festival now, because we have such a great team that put it together, is, I won't say it's a walk in the park, but it's a lot less stressful than that week in the theatre. Last week we had the youth group that won last year were performing here last night. It's nice, they're the future of the festival, so get them used to it now and get them enthused by it, and hopefully they'll come back as adults. Oh, I think it's a fantastic training ground for anybody that wants to go into the profession. It gives you a real taster of what it's like, and in amateur theatre you can try your hand at directing, or you can do sound, or you can do lighting or stage management, as well as getting up on stage and acting, so you can really work out where your passion lies and then follow it, if you so wish, in the professional world.
Claire Rossino was talking to Amanda Vaughan, the chair of the Woking Drama Association, whose drama festival has been a great success. And in the background, Toby Johnson was adding a sophisticated piano accompaniment. Now, we're all familiar with The Calendar Girls, the film, and of course, the real calendar. Well, just up the road from our studios in Pyrford lies West Byfleet. And there, Beata Ralph, with help of Corrie Meyer, the photographer, and some friends, decided to make their version of this calendar genre, raising money for the Dennis Ralph Trust, a brain tumour trust that aims to support local carers. Anne Jones went to meet them both, but decided to keep her clothes on.
As a photographer, what pictures do you usually take?
The pictures I usually take are weddings. I sometimes do weddings for friends and family, mainly family photo shoots at the moment. That would be the normal.
And just how different has this project been to taking wedding photographs?
Yeah, quite different. I guess the general themes are the same, so you're still taking photographs of people and you want them to look as good as possible. But the very fact that it's people naked adds a whole new dimension, I think.
You wanted to produce this calendar to raise funds. You've set up the Dennis Ralph Foundation. Can you tell me a little bit about the background?
Well, we lost our son Dennis to a brain tumour nearly 10 years ago now. And in the first few years after he passed away, we raised a lot of money for the brain tumour charity. But coming on now, a few years later on, I want to do something to keep his memory alive and do something in his name. And the idea for it was to care for the carers, give them a hug, as you call it, by lending a helping hand, by paying for a gardener to come in or a cleaner, something like that, just to help them out.
What makes these pictures tasteful and not, a bit salacious?
Yeah, we were very keen to make sure that it was a bit more arty and tasteful than it could have turned out. So the base we started from was copying pictures of famous people, so like Audrey Hepburn in Breakfast at Tiffany's, things like that. We were using those as a starting point. And although the final photos are quite a long way away from those images, it gave us something to work on from that point of view. I think it's helped in terms of learning how to put people at their ease. I think if you can make a woman feel comfortable in front of the camera when she's got absolutely nothing on, then you realise that you can do that for a bride or for a family in a photo shoot. So I think it's really helped from that point of view.
And have you thought that possibly there could be a follow-up with perhaps men modelling?
I know, we have thought about it. It's very tempting. So yes, I think watch this space. There will be a follow-up.
Anne Jones was talking to Beata Ralph, the founder of the Bells of West Byfleet calendar, and to Corrie Meyer, the director of photography. Visit their Facebook page for more details on their calendar. Well, that just about wraps up this edition of Pyrford TV Arts Autumn 2016. Remember that all the backgrounds to the programme and the contributors can be found on the TV Arts website, you know what it is after that. Well, I'm Tim Matthews, and all that remains for me to say from all of us here in the studio in Pyrford, thank you very much for watching. See you in 2017, and it'll be springtime. Our play-out music this time will be The Last Post, as we record over Remembrance Day weekend. From all of us here, goodbye.